Welcome back to NSC's weekly series Spotlight. The boys in gold concluded their record-breaking season, and now we're going to take a stroll down memory lane. All that and more here on Spotlight. Welcome back, guys. It's good to have you both at the table today. How are you doing?
It's good to be here. The fact that there is snow behind us and we're talking about Nashville SC means it's been a good season. The fact that we are still at this point and bittersweet, right? The season over, but nice to be able to reflect on what was, as you said, a historic season.
I mean, there might be snow the next time we all convene here to talk about 2026. It's going to be right around the corner. So a good spot to kind of reflect on what's been obviously a historic year.
Snow days off. That's what I like to say. We're here. The snow's out here. Snow days off. Game 3 didn't go as Nashville SC planned, but there's still so much to be proud of. Will, what are some of your takeaways?
Yeah, I think first of all, you take away that you beat Lionel Messi on this field. That matters. You went toe-to-toe with a really good Miami team that at full strength is as good as there is in this league, as good as there's ever been in this league on paper. Now, the way that team all meshes together, the way teams like Vancouver, San Diego, Cincinnati, who has been able to keep Lionel Messi in check as well a couple of times. They've not seen him nearly as many times as we have here or on the road. We'll see. But you went toe-to-toe with a really talented squad, and you're one step away from being one of the final 4 teams left in the Eastern Conference. That is a success. That is a tip of the cap. That is a feather in the cap, if you will, for BJ Callaghan, this coaching staff, and this squad.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this Miami team, we will end up looking at it as arguably the most talented in MLS history, regardless of what happens in this postseason. It's not really a consolation, right, for the boys in gold. They went into Chase Stadium wanting a win, wanting to move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals. So now they got to toe this line, right, of coming away with the emotions of that loss, coming to terms with the season ending, and then being able to reflect a little bit on the historic year that it was in 2025. And it was. And one of those was getting over that Lionel Messi Inter Miami hump here on this field in Game 2 to push Miami to the brink as much as possible. So one of those things where you kind of got to balance out the feeling of a loss and the gutting sensation of ending your season, and also appreciating what this team did and how ahead of schedule it feels in the BJ Callaghan era.
Mm-hmm. Strolling down memory lane, all right, 2025, this has been a historic season. What was the moment looking back that defined it for you, that you saw and you were like, this is going to be that season for us?
Oh, man. If there's one that stands out to me, there are several this year, but I have to go back to early April, coming off a 3-0 loss at Seattle, early stages of the season, and then putting a 7-2 drubbing on Chicago Fire. That was one of the first, okay, Nashville is here moments of 2025. Sam Surridge scoring 4 goals, BJ Callaghan versus Greg Berhalter, and the boys in gold just making that statement, showing how aggressive they were going to be and what that potential was. I mean, that just kind of signaled what was to come, Will, just from the mentality standpoint and the attacking style of play that BJ Callaghan had been preaching. We had seen signs of it leading up to that point, but for it to just open the floodgates like that in that game, for me, was one of those first moments of the year that this could be something special.
Yeah, I think that one, and which was right after a win on the banks of the Delaware River, beating Philadelphia Union, a place that Nashville SC had never won before, the first of 3 wins out of 3 tries against the Philadelphia Union this season. And I think that this team, you talk about how they stack up against some of the best teams in MLS, some of the most talented teams in this league. We'll take away that they beat the Supporters' Shield winners 3 times. In 3 tries. And you look at some of the defining moments of this season, winning on the road there with 3 goals away from home, a late win with 10 men on this field July 4th weekend, and then the semifinal that gets you to the U.S. Open Cup final, which allows you to hoist your first trophy and set history for Nashville and for the state of Tennessee. It's kind of like the markers of playing Philadelphia were kind of right before something really good happening. And all those wins are also really good things because we like beating Philadelphia. We like winning games here in Nashville. Not breaking any news, but to me, those moments, it's kind of a cop-out answer because I'm giving you 3. But I'll start with the one on the road. The first time you really saw Nashville go toe-to-toe with the team and say, whoa, okay, we know what this looks like. We know how aggressive this team can be away from home. Let's see how that fares for an entire 34-match season, plus U.S. Open Cup, and it turned out to be pretty good.
And I think that says a lot about Coach BJ Callaghan's leadership, right? This was his first full season under his leadership. What would you say that this season has done in reflection of his identity?
Well, I think the thing that BJ Callaghan set forward this year is let's do what we say we're going to do. And I think of two main areas there. First of all, I think of playing young players. When we met with BJ this past week leading up to match 3 in Miami, he said, it's kind of symbolic in a way that Matt Corcoran starts match day 1 on this field against the New England Revolution and then also is starting the final 2 playoff matches this season. That's significant for a teenager to be playing in the MLS Cup playoffs in your most important games of the season against Lionel Messi, being matched up with him. That is a formative experience for a young player whose best soccer is certainly ahead of him. And I think of the goal they set out to score 50 goals. They wanted 50 goals in MLS play in preseason. They scored 58 in the regular season, 3 more in the postseason, added 14 in the U.S. Open Cup. You get to 75. A club record for regular season plus postseason all competition goals. That's meaningful. It's a brand of soccer this city is going to enjoy. It's a brand of soccer the diehards over here in the back line are going to love, but also the kind of soccer that attracts people that when they come here to Geodis for the first time, they're going to come back. Like, hey, I just saw Nashville score 7 goals. They kicked an extra point in Geodis Park over the weekend. I've got to get back there. Not that past teams didn't want people to come back here, but it goes that next step forward to say, all right, this is not only a good team winning matches, they're doing so in a really entertaining way.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about our biggest takeaways for the year. I mean, even just to fast forward to that, that's mine. Doing what they said they were going to do from match day 1 until the end of the playoffs of the young players. It's not just Corcoran, right? It's giving Chris Applewhite that opportunity, first homegrown, to start and play in a game for Nashville. Alan Carlton earning a chance with the first team after the incredible season he had down with Huntsville. The contributions you got from Ahmed Kassem, from Johnny Perez, and then just the mentality of how this team wants to play, how aggressive they want to be in all phases of play. And they did that from start to finish. And that's a credit to BJ Callaghan. It's a credit to Mike Jacobs, the goals of 50-plus goals, of lifting a trophy, of making the playoffs. You can just keep checking the boxes in 2025. So for me, that looms over everything, is everything Nashville 2.0 said they wanted to do this year, they pretty much accomplished. Now it's about taking it to another level and how they can find that next step in 2026.
All right, now it's time to reveal who your player of the year is. Will, let's start with you.
Well, we talked about this before we started, and so
Did we?
We did a little bit. I'm not going to take Sam Surridge, all right? I'm going to let Lucas talk about all the good things that Sam Surridge did. I think you could make an argument that Andy Nahar was this team's most valuable player in a lot of ways. They went as he went in the attack, in defense, and 2 goals, 10 assists, the first Nashville defender to reach double-digit assists. A big reason why Nashville had the 4th most goal contributions by defensive players in Major League Soccer in the regular season. Andy Nahar's renaissance down the Nashville right-hand side also lines up with another thing BJ Callaghan says that this team is going to do. Everyone attacks, everyone defends, and nobody embodied that better than Andy, whether it was shutting down wingers on the left and for obviously Nashville, the right-hand side, or scoring goals like he did against Houston, having the early crosses, the interchange in the middle. I mean, BJ would tell us all season, like, this guy can dribble through players, he can play long switches, he can play 1-2s, like whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do it. And Sam Surridge, Hani Mukhtar, you can go down the list. There are plenty of good options for this. But I think Andy's value to this team cannot go unnoticed.
Yeah, any of Nashville's 3 All-Stars could take this. I thought a big snub to not have Andy Nahar as a finalist for MLS Defender of the Year. And he wasn't even supposed to play this big of a role, right? BJ's talked to us about this. Andy largely was brought in, yes, to bring them some valuable minutes, but also to help along some of these younger fullbacks on the team. And then he just became undroppable. And Renaissance is a good way to put it. A guy who had a nice, promising start to his MLS career, goes to Europe, back in his home of Honduras, and then back in MLS and having an all-star season. Absolutely, he was crucial to what Nashville wanted to do. But yeah, I'm going to go the cop-out here. I'm going to go Sam Surridge, MVP finalist, Golden Boot contender. In a season where Hani Mukhtar had 30 goal contributions, 18 goals and 12 assists, yet still it was Sam Surridge with the most offensive output, just clinical as ever this year, doing everything he was brought here to do and then some. You can't tell the story of the 2025 season without talking about Sam Surridge finding the back of the net 30-plus times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well-deserved. And I'm going to throw someone in there, too, because I truly believe that he deserves a shout-out. Eddie Tagseth, the Norwegian nuisance, I think, beyond just his performance on the field, right, setting the opponent, making sure that he is as annoying as possible to the other team. He has been such a tribute to this team off of the field too, right? At community events, anytime we had a marketing event with the Nostalgic Hit, showed up, said hello to every single fan, related to them, connected with them, took pictures with them, was just such a down-to-earth guy. And I think the character that he added to the team just added so much for our fans to latch onto. Our last home match, we had a kid that showed up with a golden wig and Eddie Tagseth jersey and everything. So I think he's definitely left his stamp on this team and on our fans. But looking back, what would you say is your biggest takeaway of the 2025 season?
I mean, the biggest takeaway has got to be the biggest moment. You came out of this season with a trophy, and you put the U.S. Open Cup down there in that trophy case, and that is a huge step forward, not just for the city of Nashville, for these supporters, for the first step in what we hope is many steps of winning trophies for this club. It puts you back in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It allows you to be in competitions like that, like Leagues Cup. We'll see what that looks like in 2026. And the ability for Nashville to be able to put that in their back pocket and recruit to that, to be able to go get players who want to play at the highest competitions, who want to be in CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's more than just what you've done in the past. It also sets you up for a big future and a very big 2026 of NSC 2.0.
Yeah, and down that thread, for me, it's doing it on your terms, too. You won U.S. Open Cup in the way that you said you were going to play, trusting the type of players that you need to be able to trust in a cup competition like that. You can't rely on your usual 11 that you'll see on any given MLS match day on a U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal match day or a round of 16 game against Chattanooga. You have to have depth stepping up in different areas. Nashville got that in spades in this competition, whether it was Wyatt Meyer scoring that goal against Orlando, Brian Schwacke between the posts the whole way, a huge penalty save in the finals. So not only winning the U.S. Open Cup, but winning it in the exact manner with which you said you were going to go about this entire season, to me, sticks out about 2025.
The offseason is officially here. Nashville SC has really built a foundation in this last season. How do you continue to build on that?
Yeah, well, Mike Jacobs and his staff have a ton of flexibility this offseason to tinker with this roster. Over a dozen players with an option at the end of their contract. So you can decide to move on from some guys. You can decide to bring some guys back, whether that's in the same role, in a bit of a supplementary role, what have you. Nashville from here on is going to try to build depth because with success, comes more opportunities, right? It opens doors like CONCACAF Champions Cup. Nashville played well over 40 games in 2025. The goal to be a high-level club is to play 40, 45 or more games every single year. You've got to have the depth to be able to support that. So laying a foundation this year is a great way to put it. From here on, Nashville, just with all the offshoots of that, building depth in key areas to just sustain this progress as you get into higher and higher competitions.
Yeah, there's definitely flexibility. I think my question is, where is the next Eddie Tagseth? Where is the next Matt Corcoran? And this team's ability to get younger and this team's ability to find more young players for BJ Callaghan to develop. But also, how do the young players already on the roster earn more opportunities? With the 2 performances that Matthew Corcoran had in the postseason, 3 performances, his cameo appearance as well, everything he did was a marker to say, I want a bigger place in this team in 2026. And again, we don't know what his position is yet. I mean, he's young enough to where he can fill in a lot of different spots, and the versatility there is important. But I think that's my biggest point of excitement. Guys like Chris Applewhite and Matt Corcoran, and other guys that we didn't see as much of, and Jordan Knight, who was brought in late in the season, and Maximus Eck, who got healthy at the right time for Huntsville and their push in the postseason. Who else hasn't emerged that isn't on our radar yet? We're going to find out, and it's going to be less than 90 days. Mike Jacobs has a lot of flexibility. He does not have a lot of time, and that is one thing. There's a lot of caffeine in the Nashville SC front office this time of year.
What are you most looking forward to in the 2026 season?
Oh, man, it's a great question. Just to see where Nashville takes a leap, right? Whether that's stamping themselves, their identity, their presence in CONCACAF Champions Cup, whether that is making noise in a different competition. If it's Leagues Cup in 2026, we'll see. But where Nashville is able to raise its level and establish themselves after lifting U.S. Open Cup is going to be my biggest fascination, Will, as we've seen Nashville play in CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yeah. But now another chance to play against teams you're not as familiar with, potentially to go to countries that you've never played at before across the CONCACAF landscape. It's just more opportunity. So I'm really excited with that competition specifically to see how much noise Nashville can make.
I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path here because 2026 is a big year for soccer in the United States. How does Major League Soccer and more specifically Nashville SC capitalize on a World Cup year, on people who are going to be more of a captive audience for soccer in this city and in this country, who are going to watch some really exciting games happen down the road in the South and around the country and come to the end of that and say, oh, there's a really good team here locally. What does this stadium look like with World Cup level excitement in the United States? 2026 is as important of a season as there has ever been for Major League Soccer and just for U.S. soccer in general in this country. We are at a pivot point of this league being able to evolve and take that next step. And that's going to happen here in our backyard as well. Nashville SC is rising and ascending at a really, really good time for soccer in this country, for soccer in the city, and I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Yes. Well, that is a wrap for our 2025 season, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching us week after week as we covered Nashville SC. We love our boys in gold. Thank you to Lucas, thank you to Will, and thank you to Jaleel, who is not here, for all of their insight. And don't forget to follow Nashville SC on all social media platforms, and we hope to see you in 2026. Thanks for watching Spotlight.